What's going on, everyone? Today I'm here with Dr. Tina Coleman. Now, Dr. Tina Coleman is a radiologist, and I am blessed to have her here today to share with you about the medical field and definitely advancement that you can have in the medical field. So, Dr. Coleman, thank you for joining us on the show.
Hi, Phil. Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be on the platform with you as well.
Now, Dr. Coleman, most people that's listening to the program, I'll just go ahead on and ask that question for them. We hear an accent. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Cameroon, West Africa. I immigrated here about a total of 15 years ago. Wow, it's been a long time. A total of 15 years ago, I came for college.
Okay, so you came for college and you had the intent to become a doctor back then?
I did. I left Cameroon at the age of 18. I grew up in the British system where in general you go to medical school right after high school. And there was only one medical school back home at the time. And my dad asked me to review my options. Pretty much, I looked at London, Paris, France as well, because French is my first language. And then I ultimately decided to come to the U.S. I already had 4 siblings in the U.S., so it seemed like a logical choice. Now, of all the places in the U.S., I ended up going to Louisiana because I thought they were a French colony, and I thought they spoke French until I got there, and people could barely speak English, so that was fun.
Yeah, that Louisiana French is definitely something special because my family, a lot of them come from Louisiana as well. So I know all about that Cajun culture. That's my roots.
Oh, I loved it. I missed it. I had so much fun in Louisiana, and I met my husband in Louisiana, and we've just been having fun ever since.
Now, did you enjoy the food in Louisiana?
It was amazing. The food, the breadth of the culture really was what really took me aback. The food was amazing, especially I used to work in this a little restaurant called Papa Joe's, and we used to make po' boys and oyster po' boys. That was like my favorite, and I had so much fun down there.
Yeah, anytime I go to Louisiana, I just like, oh, I'm just home because Cajun culture, just where it's at least for my upbringing and for my family. Now, let's talk about the medical field itself. Now, you got into it and you came to the U.S., got your education. What is the difference between the medical field here in the U.S. and in Cameroon?
So it's a very big difference. Obviously, the medical system here in the United States is much, much more advanced. But I left the Cameroon at age 18, so at that time I really just had a conception of what medicine was. But I will tell you this, most of Cameroon is a bilingual country in both English and French, so we have a lot of administrative stuff is according to the French system really, and French law. And then you have that blend with the English-speaking system. And obviously in America, things are a little bit more different. Number one, just the number of schools available is amazing. And the career options, there are a lot of mid-level career options in terms of like physician assistant, nurse practitioners, which are much more in use here in the United States than they are back home.
Now, you mentioned nursing, and this is a good field for definitely a lot of people within our community get in. Can you share the opportunities that is there in the process of going through for nursing?
Absolutely, Phil. I've been called a lot of things. I've been called the ambassador of nursing. I've been called the head nurse in charge. I've been called all kinds of things. I started getting passionate about nursing really after about 2 years I got into the U.S. When I first came to the U.S., my major was biology. I was a biology major for 2 weeks, and I was like, oh, heck no, this is way too many zoology classes, and this is taking way too long. And I don't know anyone that has a job being just a BS in biology besides teaching high school students, which I had no interest in doing. So from there, after 2 weeks, I switched to a math major because math was just easier for me. Plus, my choice in making a math major was me literally walking up to financial aid, and I asked, which major has the most amount of unclaimed scholarships? And they were like, math. I was like, well, that's my new major. I want to go to college for free, and they're handing out money, so I'm going to do math. And I was in this path of math for about 2 years. And when one of my sisters, Rosalind, she was so insistent. She was like, do nursing, do nursing, do nursing. I'm like, what is this obsession with nursing? Is that even a real major? Because coming from back home, nursing is not a major per se, like a university major. It's more like a vocation for people that can make it to real college. So I was like, there's no way I'm doing nursing. And but then I listened to her. I did my research. I spent over 6 months researching. When I first came to the U.S., IT was very hot. You know, computer science. Everybody, IBM was at Grambling every day hiring. They're like, hey, you're doing great in programming classes. Why don't you go into IT? Then I went back and looked at the job market, and I was shocked. I saw that nursing had the U.S. had a 2 million nurses shortage, and they had no plan on how to fulfill it. And immediately I went to the registrar's office and changed my major to nursing. I'll tell you why, because the market in it was amazing, and I have never, ever, ever regretted my decision since then. Obviously, a lot of my friends in nursing were in math were like, "What are you doing? How did you switch to nursing?" And they tell you things like, "You're so smart," and "Why would you do nursing?" and all that kind of stuff. But I tell you, Phil, that's the best academic decision I've ever made. I always knew I wanted to go to medical school. I just wanted a job right after I got out of medical school, and I finished my nursing degree in 2006. And within 4 days, I got a job. After one interview, and I got a $10,000 sign-on bonus, and I was like, this is heaven. Why is no one else doing it? And I became like what my friends like to call the nursing ambassador. It's amazing to me the amount of opportunities in nursing. I've just been so blessed, my family and I. And we live and breathe nursing. I have 5 sisters who are all nurses, and we all came to nursing from a non-traditional path. So we tried other things first, and then eventually switched to nursing.
Like in my family, my sister-in-law, she's an RN, and then my daughter's going to go to school here in the fall. Nursing as well, you know. So it's nursing is also an outside, because I told my daughter this. I said, I am not going to try to give you college and you get out, you don't make no money. Yeah, you might well go work at McDonald's if that's the case. I mean, because they got people that get prestige degrees. And, oh, I got a degree, but you're not making no money. What's the point? I mean, like you said, nursing, you got a $10,000 sign-on bonus. Retail not gonna give you that.
You're lucky if you get a job in retail, and then when you get a job, you get a bag and kiss and worship your manager just to get ahead. I couldn't do it, Phil. I'm a very bossy person. I like to be in charge, and I like to be in a field where I'm needed. And I'll tell you this, just coming from a background, the reason I realized something being through college and talking to people through college, people have this misconception about college, that college is a place for you to find yourself, college is a place for you to have fun. It's amazing the amount of things you hear from college students. And I can tell you, just this is not like a real research, just from my own observation, about 40% of people in universities don't belong there. They're just wasting time and wasting money. And that's one of my pet peeves actually in life, is just this lazy attitude of just everything will be fine. I'm here to find myself, and I'm here to... Here's the thing. I learned something about 5 years ago from Dr. Miles Monroe. I don't know if you know it, but he said,
yes, I know he is.
If purpose is unknown, abuse is inevitable. If you do not know the purpose for college and for university, you will abuse of it. Okay? That's the first thing. And that's happening in a lot of colleges in the U.S. The second thing is the misconception that when you go to college, you should pick what you like. If I pick what I like, I'll be tutoring high school students right now in math, okay? I'm miserable doing it. But instead, I always tell my mentors, I've been mentoring young people for about 10 years, and I always tell them, don't pick what you like. Pick what the market likes. If you pick something the market likes, you can get a job, and then later on, once you have footing, go after your own passions. For me, that road led me from I used to be a CNA, which is a certified nurse's assistant, and I became an RN, which is a registered nurse. And then I used that as a platform to build my way to become a medical doctor. So you stop thinking of nursing as this thing where you'll be stuck in it. It's a wonderful, there's so much variety in what nurses do. I have a sister that has not touched a patient in over 5 years. She's only in management, and she loves it. She's a people person. She gets to wear her nice clothes to work, and she gets to tell people what to do, and she's also a nurse. I have nurses who are legal nurse consultants. They work with lawyers all day, and they find it, they enjoy it. I have nurses who are school nurses. They get 3 months off every single year. They hang out with their kids. They work basically school hours. When their kids are in school, they're in school. The breadth is so amazing. There's corporate nursing. There's teaching in nursing, becoming a professor in nursing. There's becoming a. I could talk about nursing all day, but I'll let you get in there, Phil. Sorry.
Oh no, that's okay because the people want to hear the information. Now, what is the difference between a RN and a nurse practitioner?
Okay, so here's the thing. The problem with nursing, let me go back to just a little bit. The problem with nursing, why a lot of people, the reason why nursing doesn't get the respect it deserves is because no one is sure who a nurse is. I've heard CNA say they're nurses. I've heard RN, 2-year RNs, so associate degrees in nursing, say they're RNs. I've heard BSN, so Bachelors of Science in Nurses with an RN license, say they're nurses. I've heard nurse practitioners who are masters call themselves nurses. I've heard DMPs, which is a doctorate degree, call themselves nurses. So when you identify as yourself as a nurse to the public, people are not sure if they're dealing with somebody with a 2-week certificate in CNA or they're dealing with a PhD person. So there's no clarity in that fact. That's something the ANA has to get better at dealing with. I've been talking about this and writing about this for years. But when you say you're a physician, everyone knows you went to medical school. When you say you're a lawyer, people know you went to law school. But I'll tell you really briefly, an RN is a license, right? You can either have a 2-year degree, which is an associate degree in nursing, or a 4-year degree, which is a bachelor's of science in nursing. And then an RN is a license that's attached to your degree.
Okay, so once you get past RN, nurse practitioner, do they help the doctors more? RN?
Yes, a nurse practitioner is a mid-level provider. So it's basically what between an RN and a physician, be it an MD or a DO. And a nurse practitioner is what we call mid-level providers. There are 2 kinds, nurse practitioners and PAs. So nurse practitioners have, in some states, full autonomy to see patients without the supervision of a physician. But in most states, they still have to work under the supervision of a physician.
And, for many people, Dr. Coleman, that don't know about this, nursing is a good way to get out of the hood, so to speak.
Oh, my goodness. Go ahead.
I don't realize that.
It is the solution. This is the one field where racism works for us. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. I was told this by a hiring nurse in Texas, and she said, my name is Tina Coleman, but my maiden name used to be Fomenki. And it was the most interesting thing ever. So when I got married, I changed my name to Coleman. So when I send my application, before I open my mouth, most people think I'm an American, like I'm a native, I was born in this country. And so she got my application, she didn't return my call. And I always interview for jobs over the phone because the demand is so high. So I called her. And I started talking to her, and she was like, "Who are you again?" I'm like, "I'm Tina Coleman. I sent my application, and I haven't heard back from you." She's like, well, yes. Oh, I did not know you were a foreigner. I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "Well, usually I like to hire, what did she say? I like Filipino nurses. I like African nurses. I like African American nurses, and then I'll talk to Caucasian nurses." I was like, "Wow, what do you mean by that?" She was like, "Well, in general, most people, especially people from minority backgrounds, are used to living with in multi-generational families. So they live with their grandparents. They're used to that caring aspect." Number one. Number two, African Americans are great orators. So they make great charge nurses, great communicators. And it's easy, and they're used to being challenged in a sense. So they're used to dealing with difficult circumstances, and they usually excel. And then thirdly, we just have that caring aspect. It's already part and parcel of who we are. So in nursing, whereas in most fields, being a minority or being someone from a foreigner works against you. In nursing, they're looking for you. And I'm telling you, African American nurses excel really, really well. They get into leadership very fast, and they rise up the ranks really, really fast. You probably know nurses that are doing really, really well in nursing, I'm sure in your own family, but it's one of the few fields where being a minority actually helps you.
My sister-in-law, I saw her go through school. She got her, RN and everything, and not financially, she's doing great. She's doing
I know
very
RNs
well.
that are making six figures. They're making over
Oh yeah.
$100 a
Oh
year.
yeah.
And people are
Even here in Texas.
not being able to find jobs. Phil, I tell you, I've heard all kinds of excuses. Somebody's like, I'm scared of blood. Me too. I did a surgery internship. Get over it. Okay, I have two kids. Me too. you know, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have any money. Me neither. I've heard it all, Phil. I've heard it all. And you can start with something as simple as a CNA. That's why actually why I created CNA to MD. CNA to MD is really my story. I started as a certified nurse's assistant. I cleaned diapers for a living. 4 years, and then I basically mapped out in my life and gave myself a 10-year plan to become an MD. And I did it not because I was smarter than anybody or more blessed or lucky. As someone just told me recently, I was very lucky. I was like, I guess working 80 hours a week and going to nurse and medical school makes me lucky, whatever. But really, the difference, the 1 minute difference in my life was strategy. And I realized that a lot of people don't have strategy on how to leave their current predicament to go to where they're trying to go in life. And so that's why I created CNA to MD. It's providing simple, logical, step by step instructions for people to try to make it to that next level. If you're stuck in the current job and you don't like it, consider nursing. If you're stuck in your or if you're capped out at your job and you can't make any more money, consider nurses. I have mentees. I've been mentoring young people and older people for over 10 years now, and I have people who are 10 years older than me who are my mentors, and they're coming from all kinds of fields, from accounting, and they're like plateaued. They don't get promoted because, I mean, one of my mentees has been at this job for like 5 years. She's getting passed over as a minority, and she's having people that Caucasians that have just graduated or non-minorities that just graduated college 3 years after her become her supervisor, and they keep telling her, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
next year you do better next year." And in nursing, that doesn't really matter. You get paid per hour. It doesn't matter. You graduate from Harvard or you graduate from Podunkville in, I don't know, Alabama, wherever that is, and as long as you have an RN license, you come in at the same amount of money and you get paid per hour. So it's really an empowering thing. But CNA to MD, you got CNA2MD.com. Check it out. Send me emails if you have any questions. That's my passion, and I've been doing this for over 10 years. I did it for free for the first 10 years. I just started charging this year, but it's really, really, it's. I love to show people practical ways in which they can change their lives. At the end of the day, my husband will tell you, I'm all about the show me the money. I'm an immigrant. I don't have time to sit here and try to figure out, oh, what's nice, and I want to find myself. No. First, give me a job. I'll find myself there after my bills are paid.
See, Dr. Coleman, that is the right attitude to have. And if that attitude spreads out into our community, it's nothing that we can't do, because we have a block in our community that want to give excuses to why they can't do it. And like you said, a lot of us are dealing with jobs that you have been there forever. You're training younger Caucasian people to take your job. Even if some of them don't even have an education, you have it, and yet they're your boss in 6 months. And that's humiliating, and it pisses you off. So I think, male or female, if you want to get out of those stuck jobs, Dr. Coleman said you could join with her on her CNA to MD, get in nursing school, and get your degree. And I know, at least here in Texas, that nurses easily making $80,000 a year easy. Now, if you're an overtime person, then you're going to make 6 figures.
Exactly. Working 3 days a week, Phil, you got to tell them that. 3 days a week is full-time in nursing. You can have 4 days a week to pursue your passions. I'm telling you, nursing will, for me, it's been the game changer. And the secret of nursing is this: males do much better in nursing than females. There's an article that came out, research that came out. A man is about 40% more likely to become a manager in the nursing field than women are. So I wouldn't say, guys, don't count yourself out. We need you. And there's a big shortage of nursing in the US. And even if you imported every nurse from India and Philippines, you still would not meet the needs. Your country needs you. The economy needs you. Your family needs the job. So just make the step. It's logical, dude. It's logical. Rather than trying to go into programming and everybody there, it's already a saturated field. Not saying they shouldn't do that, but I love programming. I miss math. I actually learned programming on my own But at the same time, I wanted to make sure I had a job, okay? I didn't have to beg nobody for a job. So in a sense, I'm not telling you to leave your passion, because your passion, your profession can never replace your passion. My passion, for example, is my passion is helping people. I love mentoring young people. And it doesn't matter if I'm a CNA, if I'm an ND, if I'm whatever it is, nurse practitioner, I'm going to mentor people. I started mentoring people 10 years ago as a nursing student, and I haven't stopped doing it. My profession has changed quite a bit. My responsibilities have changed. I have kids now, I have a husband, but that passion still stays. And I see that's what stops people, because people always tell me, but I want to be a writer, and I want to be become a writer and write about nursing and get paid for it. I'm all about providing for your family and making responsible choices. And stop giving excuses, people, please.
Because excuses is, you're not gonna get anywhere. And also, what she was saying about men, brothers, a lot of you are struggling on these jobs. A lot of these folks, you know how they're jealous of us as black men, especially when we're trying to do something. If some of you are just stuck in dead end jobs, you got a little money, let's say your job had a little 401k and you never pulled out of it, man, forget it. Go get in a nursing school, get your money, man. Because this is the thing, when you are doing well, especially as a man, you feel better about yourself. It's a whole lot different with us versus women. Our identity is connected to our level of success. And if you, let's say you get into nursing school, you get in there, you become pretty big time with the nursing. You want to go be a doctor like Dr. Coleman, you can do that, because that's what my daughter wants to do. She wants to go from nursing school to med school.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love it. CNA. Is she a CNA, Phil?
No, my daughter's the one that's graduating in June.
Tell her to get her CNA license, Phil. You can get that in 1 day. I got my CNA license in 12 hours. That's a good place to start. It gives you, I'll tell you why. I became a CNA as soon as I make a decision to go into nursing school. I was in Louisiana, and I only had like $139 or something like that. I rode a Greyhound bus to Florida. I found out you could test out. I called the state of Florida, and they sent me their materials to take the test. I went and took my license on a Saturday. By Monday the next week, I was licensed as a CNA. You can test out of it. You don't even have to take the class. Nursing homes give you the classes for free. Hello? And then for free, and then they hire you on to work there for your job after you're done. They're always hiring for CNAs. Now, CNA should not be your last stop, but it's a great place to start. Why? I got to interact with nurses. After becoming a CNA, my nursing home, okay, my nursing home gave me a full-time scholarship, full-time, to go to nursing school for free. I didn't even have to work for them. It just said that if you're a minority in the state of Louisiana, and you were interested in going to nursing school, and you work in a nursing home, you get a scholarship. Now, how awesome is that?
That's definitely awesome, especially you coming from poor communities and you want those opportunities. So the opportunities are out there, and that's why we wanted to do this interview with Dr. Coleman. So Dr. Coleman, could you tell people how to get in contact with you to continue the conversation?
So my website is www.cna2md.com, and you can email me. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook as well, Instagram, and LinkedIn as well. You can find me CNA2MD. My story, I always tell people, my story is CNA2MD. It doesn't have to be your story. Join me and let's write your story together. But I'm excited to meet. I'm excited and looking forward to talking with you guys. www.cna2md.com.
So everyone, make sure you go to cna2md.com. Continue the conversation with Dr. Coleman. I know some of you sisters and brothers that's frustrated out there. You're sick of your boss. You're sick of the racism. You're sick of all that. Dr. Coleman just told you a way out. Take that lifeline and get out there and start making some good change for your family. Take vacation like everyone else. So Dr. Coleman, thank you for your time. I really appreciate you joining us and sharing with the audience.
Thank you so much, Phil. Have a good day.